What's up, cretins? What's up, you bunch of fucking stars? My name is Chris. I'm the only person talking horror movies on the internet. Let's talk about Maxxxine. Before we get into it, let me give you the TLDR haiku review. An outstanding end to the greatest franchise of the 2020s. Here's your full spoiler-free review. I will not accept a life I do not deserve. These are the words declared by a young Maxxxine minx under her father's instruction to begin the end to Ty West and Mia Goth's X trilogy. Set 6 years after the events of the original X, we're reacquainted with Maxxxine as she attempts to transition her adult film career into bona fide stardom over the backdrop of 1985 Los Angeles. Murders start occurring a tad too adjacent to our protagonist. Here's your movie. So, much like Pearl, Maxxxine is overtly a character piece. And Mia Goth has shown up for it. She's ready to give this trilogy the send-off it deserves. Unlike Pearl, who is a character that's somewhat starved for acceptance and adoration, Maxxxine is a character that doesn't care about acceptance and kind of demands adoration. So Maxxine's legitimization is intended to come via the sequel to a horror movie called The Puritan. She auditions for it, demanding the role from her casting pen. She gets it. That's not a spoiler, this is like 20 minutes into the movie. But she's warned fairly explicitly that due to her past, people are not going to want her, they're not going to accept her. You have to be fucking ruthless and not let anything stand in your way. This is showbiz, not show friends. And Maxxxine promises she will not let anybody down. We're occasionally fed information about real-life serial killer the Night Stalker, and we're prompted to question if they're doing a Tarantino history rewrite and this is Maxxxine when we're not looking. She's not only killed before, albeit in self-defense, but now has somewhat of a fascination with death. She almost romanticizes the Black Dahlia's murder, and she visits the Bates Motel and the Psycho House on the Universal Backlot. I can't say with 100% certainty that the Starlight Drive house in this movie is intended to invoke the Tate LaBianca murders, but those did take place on Cielo Drive. Cielo translates to sky, sky, starlight. Take for it what you will, or don't. It's what I got from it. There's a bunch of symbolism. There's a lot of showcasing of facades and subsequently what's behind them. We follow Maxxxine from her big-time audition into a strip club where her reality sets in. We look at gorgeous, glamorous people in a chic nightclub, and we follow them into the dirtiest of clogged toilet bathrooms. Possibly my favorite thing, however, is maybe 10 to 15 minutes into the film when there's an overhead shot of Maxxxine walking down a dark and dingy alley, and she ends up stuck behind a fence with a barbed wire top, the Hollywood Walk of Fame on the opposing side. It's a very clever allegory for where she currently is and what she's going to have to go through in order to get to where she wants to be. I also love the realization of Maxxine's obsession with becoming a star being countered with the killer's use of pentagrams on all of their victims. Never overtly stated, it's just there for you to pick up on. But I told you, so there you go. There's actually a lot of stuff that goes on in this trilogy that maybe goes overlooked if you're just watching these as simple slashers. And that's fine. These are supposed to be accessible at that level. But I don't think that I'm assigning a deeper meaning to this trilogy that isn't intentional. But that's a different video for a different day once we've all seen all of them, if you'd care to indulge me that at some point. But for now, let's just get back to this. If you're reading me right, you understand that I am all about what writer-director Ty West has accomplished here. He's very clearly passionate about this and has a well-defined vision of what he wants it to be. This isn't the third in the series to fulfill a contractual obligation. It's the third to tell the whole of the story. So far. I also really appreciated the look and the feel of this movie. I think that they accomplished 1985 better here than they do with most films that have far bigger budgets. Some of that comes from the killer soundtrack, some of it is from tactfully used news footage that's from the time period. but the overwhelming majority is just a credit to the costume and the set departments. None of it ever feels forced. There's never like a, hey, do you want to go see Back to the Future this weekend? Oh, I would, but I'm stuck with some kids that only want to watch Thundercats. This is just when this movie takes place, and it's where these characters exist. So I know I do have to offer something critical about this, because I don't want this to just like be an ad, and I don't want to be the guy that just likes everything about everything and is just happy to be here. But it's a tough call. It was rough watching the alley scene. I could have done without that. I could throw that your way. But I kind of fell completely into and for this movie. I mean, like, the biggest criticism that I have is that it's not Pearl, right? Like, maybe there's no big moments like Pearl had, right? Like, Pearl, I don't ever think dips below, say, like an 8, but it has so many times where it hits that 10. Maxxxine is just like an 8.5 flat throughout. I don't know that it ever exceeds my expectations, but in this case, I came in with like expectations of a Michelin star meal, and I got a Michelin star meal. There's nothing to be angry about here. Maybe I can throw that the supporting characters were underdeveloped, but this isn't LA 1985, the movie, right? This isn't X2 or X3. It's not Maxxxine and Friend. Focusing too hard elsewhere would be a discredit to the intent of the film. This is Maxxxine, and she's the fucking star. Summation. Maxxxine was everything that I wanted it to be. It is an expertly crafted film that exists as a passion project of its creator. And where Ty West and Mia Goth have honestly maybe kind of earned the right to give themselves a pat on the back for what they've accomplished and what they've given to the horror community, this really never becomes self-indulgent or arrogant. This is relatively modest beneath all of its displayed excesses. They need not accept the praise that they do not deserve because they've earned it. It may only hold it for a matter of a few days because, to be quite frank, we have such an insane slate of movies coming up. It's so good to be a horror fan, but y'all might as well go home because they just fucking nailed that. Maxxxine is my favorite horror movie of 2024. Kindred Spirits, Angel, Fade to Black, American Psycho. Also, though, I felt giallo elements. It would be wrong of me to not throw Blood and Black Lace in. I know we don't do fourths, but my thing, whatever. I'd be remiss to not throw to you that Fright Rags Rewards members only can pick up this shirt through tomorrow for $25. I already did. A24's Maxxxine collection is also now available via their website. Again, not an ad, just doing a solid for you, my fellow horror fans. So that's going to do it for today. Do all of these things over here. Let me know what you thought of Maxxxine right over here. What did you like? What didn't you like? What's your top film of 2024 so far? As always, this is all just a matter of opinion. Yours counts more than mine. See them yourself. Make your own decisions. Remain critical. Support horror.